very much indeed. Hello. And welcome to a new series of Friday Night with Jonathan Ross. Now, did you have a good summer? Yes! So you have a good summer?
Yeah, great summer.
Mine was ruined. Oh. What by? You should have asked. By this book. Wayne Rooney's autobiography. There I was, bronzed and oiled, looking magnificent, relaxed by the pool, right, fending off the ladies, trying to read this book I've been saving up all summer. When I came across this part at the back here, list of his favourite and least favourite things, and it says, least favourite television personality, Jonathan Ross. Why? What have I ever done to that potato-headed granny shagger? What have I done? No, what have I done? I mean, admittedly, I may have compared him and his family to barely evolved amphibious beings emerging from a primordial swamp when I saw that fella, but surely that's just science, isn't it? That's just observation. I may have suggested that Wayne looks like a monkey who's been on a trolley dash in JJB Sports. Maybe. Wayne, I take it back. Which is exactly what I'll be doing with your book as soon as Waterstones opens. Shall we see who's in my first green room of the series, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah. They're penned in there like veal calves in a crate. My first guest is one of the true giants of British stage and screen. She is Dame-in-Waiting. It's Julie Walters, ladies and gentlemen. The gorgeous Julie Walters. Hello, Julie.
Hello.
How lovely to have Julie back. Now, Julie is one of those actors who just gets better and better with age, if you don't mind me saying so.
Oh, no, I don't mind you saying that at all.
Julie, you have matured like a fine cheddar cheese.
Oh, please.
Yeah, tangy, savoury, crumbly, with a moist and golden rind. It is a lucky ploughman who gets a bit of you with his pickle. Julie Walters on the show. My next two guests are a couple and the undisputed stars of this year's Big Brother. It is Pete and Nikki. Hello there. Nikki, you look gorgeous this evening.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Jonathan.
And Pete, it's fantastic to have you on the show. It really is. I really loved you on Big Brother. Did you enjoy doing it? Was it good fun to be on?
No.
Is being cooped up in that room with the camera staring at you, does that remind you at all of Big Brother?
No.
Let's face it, what other show would have him, ladies and gentlemen? Nikki and Pete, thank you for joining us. And my next guest is the all-conquering Mr. Ricky Gervais, ladies and gentlemen. There he is. Great to have Ricky back on the show. An unbelievable talent. And in television terms, Ricky has achieved the nearly impossible. He managed to ruin The Simpsons. So... You see, that's what I was hoping for.
It's contagious.
That's better. Relax, let it out. No point having you on best behaviour. This series, we're going to try and do a good deed every week, right? Obviously, we've already kept Ricky out of the kebab shop for a couple of hours, so we're ahead of the game. But I feel we have still more to give, so we are taking up the cause of 70-year-old Fred Ferns from Banffshire. There is Fred. What a charming old fella. Isn't he a lovely old fella? You just know he's got a trouser pocket full of warm Werther's originals, don't you? That wasn't a joke. That was nice. Now, Fred has decided he needs a woman to comfort him in his golden years, OK? So he has put a poster up in his local shop asking for applicants. Here's the poster he actually put up. Look at that. Wanted a woman for this man. Isn't that lovely? It's a lovely poster. Although, may I sound a note of caution, of course, he's put that picture up, but that might not be a genuine photo. You know, in this day and age, he might really be a 14-year-old boy. You never know. But according to the poster, this is on his list of things he's looking for. All you need, ladies, is to not talk too much, right? And a bike. That's what he's looking for in a woman. A non-talkative cyclist. Julie, how about it? Fancy a toy boy?
Ooh. Yeah, lovely.
Nikki, one for you?
Pardon?
Get in there.
But you know what? I think I have the solution to Fred's problems. If Heather Mills-McCartney is watching, I suspect he looks like he's got a couple of bob in the post office, doesn't he? And a man of that generation is probably quite handy with a plane and sandpaper, if you know what I mean. You could make it into a whistle for her. Had you forgotten what we did on this show? Is that what it is? Shall we get my first guest out, ladies and gentlemen? Please welcome Julie Walters.
Juicy. Right.
Julie, how lovely to have you back on the show. Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, it's a pleasure, Jonathan.
How was your summer? How's your summer been? You've been busy. Did you have a holiday? What did you get up to?
What did I do? I did a bit of pottering.
Oh, lovely.
Harry, as in Harry.
Oh, you were doing Harry Potter, the new Harry Potter film?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I finished that now, and we went on holiday to Cornwall. Fantastic.
Oh, it's a lovely part of the world, isn't it?
Well, it is. And the weather was absolutely amazing. You wouldn't want to go anywhere else, would you?
What about television? Do you watch TV much? Did you watch Big Brother at all over the summer?
I did, absolutely.
Genuinely, you're a fan?
No, absolutely. And like every year, I think, I'm not watching it this year. I'm not going to watch it. But, you know, my daughter watches, so I think, well, I'll just see who's come in, you know. And then, of course, completely hooked.
Yeah,
completely hooked. And they're back. They feel as if I know them.
Isn't it so weird? Because we do. You feel like you know the people you've seen on the show and you've seen them...
But much more than an actor. It's not like an actor in a soap. I mean, you've seen them doing everything.
Yeah.
I can't... I mean, I would be constipated for 3 months if I was in something. I mean, well, you would, wouldn't you? I mean, it's hard enough as it is.
But you know, it's refreshing to hear you say this because I know a lot of performers, a lot of actors often say they don't like the reality shows because they feel it's taking work away from actors. It's an entertainment show in which people aren't, you know, the skills that you've acquired to perform aren't required anymore.
Well, no, it's a completely different ball game, isn't it? It's a different game.
Altogether,
yeah.
If you were asked to do one, and I'm sure people would love to have you, if they asked you to do a Celebrity Big Brother or that one where they put people in the jungle and, you know, would you consider even for a second doing one of those shows?
No. No. I think I'd go mad. I think I'd go insane. I can't imagine what it would be like to be cooped up like that because you have no distractions. That's why everything is so sort of exaggerated, isn't it? The relationships are so exaggerated because there's no books, there's no telly.
I've considered, you know, I love the idea of going in because I'm such a likeable person. I figure I would win, right? And yet I fear that people would see my worst habits. Let's talk, before we talk about your new movie, which comes this weekend, you mentioned Harry Potter, and let's deal with that, because I love the Harry Potter books, which I read with my children, and I enjoyed them for myself as well, but also the movies have been a tremendous success.
Yeah.
The new one you showed, this is the fourth one?
This is the fifth one.
The fifth one,
The
okay.
Order
Oh,
of the
that's
Phoenix.
right, we've seen the four. And the books are getting increasingly dark and more mature, which kind of suits the fact that the children are growing up, of course. And is that strange for you? Because you've known them, you know, I mean, you've worked with all of them when they were... How old were they in the first movie? About 9 or 10
No,
or something?
yeah, about 11, weren't they? 11, 12.
And now they're all in their late teens.
Yeah, no. Every time I go back, they're sort of like 2 foot taller and bigger and... Oh, it's lovely. It is very family-ish. And those kids are amazing. I mean, when you think that they're probably the most famous actors in the world. They're incredibly sort of grounded. I don't know how they've managed it.
I guess their parents help keep them sort of sane and normal. And,
really good. I mean...
Well, we had Daniel on the show and he was charming, I thought, really sweet and charming. And I know he's in Ricky's new series, so I think we have a clip of that to show, which is obviously I don't know why Ricky has people in the show. It's like he brings them on, he makes them look horrible, really, doesn't he? Because the court case hasn't been settled yet. Now, Julie... Rupert Grint, who's terrific in the movies, the Harry Potter movies, of course, is in your new film with you, which must be lovely. And I would have thought a very different experience for you working with him over a long period of time and actually really bouncing off him as different characters as opposed to the Harry Potter movies. Tell us about the roles you play in the new film, Driving Lessons.
Well, he plays this boy, Ben, who comes from a deeply religious family and they're very sort of repressive and there's problems at home. And he has to get a summer job, and so he answers an advert in Hello Jesus, and to help in the house and the garden of this old actress, played by myself. And so she is sort of slightly eccentric, and she's lived on her own a long time. She's sort of a bit of a damaged soul, and she had tragedy in her life, and so she's kind of strange and nothing like he has ever encountered in his life. And the two of them form this sort of odd relationship.
You know, I'm not just saying this to flatter you. I don't want to blow smoke up your backside here.
No,
Although
please,
obviously,
I love it.
literally, that would be quite an interesting experience. But I always enjoy seeing your films. I know when Julie's in a film, I know there's a performance of you. I relax because I know it's going to be good. I really do.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, but I was curious watching. I thought, does that put pressure on you? Because people expect so much of you. And I wonder whether you feel that, whether you're aware of that. And do you ever still get nervous when you're working? Is that ever something that you have to deal with?
Oh, yeah. It's really weird you should ask me that. Because actually this is much more nerve-wracking than going onto a set. Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, I suppose it's because you feel you've got to give a performance of sorts, but you don't know what it is. Yeah. You know that you're going to ask about the film, and you don't know what it's going to be. You don't know what the atmosphere is going to... You know what I mean?
And I suppose it's also... There's nothing to hide behind in terms of someone's written something for you.
Yeah. And but I do, yeah, the stage is probably more nerve-wracking. Well, it is much more nerve-wracking than film. First night, they say that it's like a road accident, you know, and I think for
I can imagine that must be hideous.
Yeah. I always ruin the first night performance. It's like I'll do it anyway because, you know, it's better than trying to do it.
And
right.
Yet, do you enjoy when you've got it right and after you've got over that first night hump?
Oh yeah, stage is fantastic. Yeah, once you've over the first night and the critics have gone and everything, and it's a real audience, you know, then it's fantastic. Yeah.
But I guess it's film. I mean, it's film that we, you know, most of us get to see you in. It's on film. It's on television.
That isn't as scary. No.
But I suppose because there's not an audience now, or
there's not an audience, and you've got a chance to do it again, and it's a little microscopic bit of the script, you know, and you're going to do it a million times. You know that. First of all, you'll rehearse it for the cameras, then it's your shot, then it's his shot, then whatever, you know.
Are you comfortable watching yourself back? Do you, when you see a movie with yourself, you know, when you just go to the editing period, you know, is it something you enjoy? Or is it something that you find difficult?
I used to hate it. I mean, it's fine now, but the first time I ever saw myself, I thought, oh my God. You know, but then you sort of get over that. Yeah. And now I don't mind at all. Because
for some of us, it's like I knew being very attractive, I was worried it would hold me back.
But, yes, you know, of course, I understand that.
Yeah. People don't take you seriously when you're just a pretty boy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Like me and Johnny Depp, but we've overcome that.
Yeah.
And now people do see the talent behind it. Yeah. Driving Lessons. It's a charming film. It's funny. It opens, I believe, tonight in the UK.
Yeah.
It's really lovely. Even when you were, you know, first performing, you got to play old ladies, it seems to me.
I know, I love old ladies. And I've always loved them. Well, I think it's because my grandmother lived with us for such a long time, you know, when I was a kid. So she was a massive influence with her 2 strokes.
So are we seeing her on screen then? When you play something like this, is it her influence and her?
I don't know. I think the fascination with her, I must have looked at her an awful lot as a kid. She was fascinating, slightly potty, you know. And so I think it's that. And then Victoria wrote me loads of...
Yeah.
So it went from there.
But whenever I meet you, I'm always a bit surprised to see you standing up straight, because I'm so used to seeing you kind of like this.
It's a massive effort to stand up straight, though. I actually want to be like that. That's really comfortable.
That was in the Acorn Antiques, the stage musical version, I believe.
That's attractive, isn't it?
But going out every night, it must kill your back going out and doing that every night.
Yeah, no, that was a bit much.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, it was. And doing the dancing and the singing like that. Singing's really hard, and the rest of the time it's really muscular. So to do it like that, I know, yeah.
How many weeks did you do it for? How many months?
16 weeks I did. That was enough. I was knackered by the end.
It must be, well, the singing and the dancing and the crouching and the humping.
Yeah, and the running up and down. Oh, yeah, no. But it was really fantastic.
Would you ever go back and do it again if they said, let's do it again for a month or 2?
No.
You wouldn't revisit it?
No.
Fabulous.
Oh, God.
I'm hoping next time we meet you'll be Dame Julie at the very least.
No,
what,
absolutely. In Panto?
No. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Julie Walters. Thank you so much. Thank you. And good luck with the movie. Really lovely.
Thank you.
Julie Walters, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Julie. She's lovely, isn't she? Now, on holiday, you know how the last few days drag when you're away, you know, you're away with the family. You have a great time, but, you know, you need things to spice it up. Well, I was away with the family, went to America, had a lovely holiday, and towards the end we were in a big amusement arcade thing, and we found this device which was called the Gene Machine. It was just this thing you go and sit in. It's like a photo machine. It's kind of a morphing machine. Basically, you go in and you pose like you do in a photo booth thing, but they can take the photograph and you can select things from a menu and you can put your face into like other templates, other models, and you can do weird things with it. For example, here's a picture that my wife took of herself. That's her on the left, and she gave herself blonde hair to look like, you know, just like a regular housewife at home. And on the right, that's a request I had. I wanted to see her as a slightly overweight ring mistress. All right? So you can do these things in there, which I love, and that's the look I would shoot for, but she won't do that for me on a regular basis. Okay? And then there's another thing she put in. That's her as a dog and as a camel, I believe. All right? Yeah. So it's a great fun machine to play around with. This is my daughter Betty. She wanted to see how she looked like with Meg Ryan's hair on the left, and on the right as a lesbian. Right? That's not the description in there. That's what she said was the haircut she was after, you know. Either way, if she turns out either way, I'm very happy. I went in, and I gave myself a Rasta haircut, and I made myself look like a German techno pop star, I decided. That would be... Either of which, you know, that's a great look for me, both of them. On the left, Milli Vanilli, on the right, Klaus. Klaus is in the house, all right? But the best thing about the Gene Machine is it can show you, you go in there either with a couple, you go in together, or you can choose from some photographs and see what sort of babies you would have. So me and Jane went in, we thought, well, if we have another baby, you know, let's see what the baby would be like. So we sat down there, did the 2 photographs. All right? This hasn't been doctored in any way. Here's the photograph that the machine gave us. Meet our new baby, Snoop Wibbly Wass. Look at him there. Where did that come from? Will you please welcome the thinking man's Preston and Chantal. It's Pete and Nikki. Hello, how are you?
Hi.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Right. How are you doing? Now, we should explain, if people didn't see Big Brother, that Pete makes these little noises and stuff. This is Tourette's, isn't it, Pete?
No, it's fake.
People have accused you of putting it on, haven't they?
Have they?
I believe so.
Let me have them.
Now, how are you both doing? You've had an interesting summer, I think it would be fair to say, in the Big Brother house. You've come out, you've won, of course. You were hugely popular as well. You had many fans, you know, I know, and other people found you kind of just nuts.
That's right.
In a good way, which is fine. Is it weird meeting people who think they know you? Because I kind of feel like I know you, and we've met for the first time tonight because I watched you so much TV, so it must be a very strange experience.
Yeah, because you can't share the experience.
Yeah, we don't know what it was like with you guys.
Yeah. Say something, Nick.
You only get used to the people that are in the house, and you forget that other people exist, apart from the people you know outside.
Yeah.
But when you come outside, like even when I used to play screens, and I'd see the people in the garden setting up the task, I'd be like, oh my God, I just saw a real person. Oh my God. Because
So it's
you
like
forget.
the world no longer exists outside of that
Kind
little
of.
bubble.
Involved in what's going on in the house.
Can you see the cameramen ever, or you're just aware they're there?
You can
or-
actually. You can stare through the mirror, and you can actually have a little bit of a peek at the men
We get
and
told
women.
off though.
I was talking to Julie earlier, and she was saying, you know, the fascinating thing for people watching it is that you do seem to forget the cameras are on you. Now, does that happen, and how long does it take before you lose your self-consciousness about being filmed?
3 or 4 glasses of wine.
Day.
And would you, knowing they were filming you, I mean, you'd have to be nude at that stage, of course, because most of the time I noticed the people in there, they would shower, and it's like a communal shower, so you would often keep swimwear on or
I
underclothes.
didn't bother.
Yeah, buff's better.
Yeah, and so did you concerned that you were being seen nude? Was that an issue?
No, because they don't. They use the word. I asked them in the diary room, and they don't.
Perv.
No. It's either discriminate or
I mean, it doesn't feel exploitative in that sense, certainly.
exploit. That was
There
it.
you go. They don't exploit you. They don't exploit close-ups and stuff like that. Now, you two are kind of a couple right now, is this right? Okay.
Yeah.
At what stage
I'm
of
afraid
the...
so.
Well, you're quite an odd couple in a way, I guess.
Well, we're both odd.
Yeah.
Make an end.
I know, 2 odds make more odds, is actually, but it kind of works, doesn't it? You know, it does seem to work. And, you know, can we talk about your relationship? I mean, where are you with this? Do you think you're going to stick together, or this is a serious thing, an ongoing thing?
Who knows?
We just hate each other, really.
Yeah, actually, I can't stand her.
You're very open about it on TV and stuff when you were in the house and since you come out, so I guess you're fairly relaxed about talking about the obvious attraction.
Well, if you want some cash in the face, I'm up for it.
There's no way I'm going anywhere near it, Pete, right? Now, that's what I'm saying. If you're going to have a tick of some sort, that's a great word to throw out there, isn't it?
It's ironic, isn't it, really?
Well, it's brilliant. Times, and I know you put this out in the Big Brother house and experience when you were doing that, but it seemed very appropriate that you were word, yeah.
Oh, you saw that bit?
Yeah, they said that, and you even pointed out, you said you love it when your Tourette's is in context.
Oh, I see. I thought you meant old. Well, each to their own. If you love that sort of thing, I'll send you a tape.
Anyway, what a great summer it's been. Maybe could have done a bit more rain, but it'd be lovely apart from that. All right, well, let's not dwell on it as such, but it must be kind of weird, people coming up and feeling they know you not only as people, but also knowing you physically in that way as well, and feeling at liberty to discuss that with you. Are you cool with that? You okay about that?
Yeah, I'm all right, I suppose.
There's not much you can do about it now, I guess.
No, it's not.
When you went in the house, what were you hoping for? Were you hoping for a career to be, you know, you're in a band already, I know that, you were hoping for your music to take off more, you were hoping for a career in media, because most people seem to go in and want to get something out of it at the end, have an idea of where they're going.
Yes.
What was yours?
Mine was just to go in there, sort out the what was it called? Awareness of Tourette's.
Yeah.
Sort all my out, sort out some my band and like that, and then that was it really. And then go home, and then go back to bed.
And the Tourette's thing, you actually really did, I think. You know, heard of it. They'd heard of it in a kind of jokey way, or maybe there was that one classic documentary in the 70s called John's Not Mad. I don't know if you ever saw that.
Yeah, I saw it, and he sent me a letter and all.
Oh, that's well, after the event. What did he say to you?
He said, "Hello, Pete. Do you want to come and talk about Tourette's?"
No, it's not the most beautiful letter I'm sure you received. That was all he put in it. The geezer from the show, the most famous Tourette's sufferer in this country previously. Would you call it suffering? Is that what you call it, Tourette's sufferer?
I actually enjoy it because I do find it gives me loads of...
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He does it to me on the phone. Sometimes he'll go, "What?"
Okay. She's easily pleased. I like that. Now, Nikki, you seem very calm here this evening. But those of us who saw you in the house, there were times, and once again, this may well have been what they chose to present, but there were moments when you were very, very volatile indeed. There's a lot of energy in you, and you didn't seem to be at all inhibited about letting us see it all and letting it all out. Is this you on your best behaviour, or is just nothing's riled you this evening?
No, I'm feeling quite content at the moment. I'm cold, but nothing's venoming me up at the moment.
Okay.
At the moment. No.
Nothing so far.
No, they knew how to push my buttons when I was in the house.
But you know, it was so entertaining at times. I mean, occasionally it just seemed nuts, but at times it was so entertaining to see you losing it, and I'm sure you can see yourself after the event why it would be. Is it embarrassing, or is it you just think, well, that's the way I am? I mean, do you find it embarrassing to see that back, to know other people have seen that as well?
I feel ashamed.
No, right, as hard as I try to behave rationally, it happens in seconds and I have no control over it. And, like, I as much as I try and think, right, have to be rational, filming Princess Nikki at the moment is really winding me up.
Now, this is a show where they've put you in circumstances where essentially they know you're going to lose your temper, is that right?
Yeah, but that's making me try not to because I know that that's what they're doing.
Okay.
So I'm trying not to. I'm trying to, like, avoid doing that. But, like, the slightest thing, like, I was made to go on a tractor the other day and I got rust all over my white handbag and I was in, like, little hot pants and high heels.
Well, that would finish us off, wouldn't it? Rust on your
Before
handbag.
I'd even got to the location, I was already crying and, like, it just happens. I don't know control.
But, and afterwards, how do you feel? Do you feel embarrassed that you've let it happen like that, or do you think, well, this is what I'm like? Or?
But I do feel, of course I feel embarrassed. Perfect example, Pete took me to a party on Saturday night and it was a school disco. It was his friend's party in Brighton. And I got to the party and we were both really excited about going. And I was standing at the table with his little brother Alex. He's only 14. Anyway, I felt something gush in my face and I was like, someone has just spat in my face. Oh my God. Alex, someone's just spat in my face. And I just immediately just started, I couldn't breathe. And like, all the blood just gushed to my head. And I was like, oh my God, someone's just spat in my face. And I had to get out. I had to get out of the party. And it was pouring with rain. And I went outside and I was like, someone spat in my face. And because I'm a bit obsessive compulsive, that's like my biggest fear. Shut up, I haven't finished yet. Anyway, I saw this house and I ran up to the house and I was like, knocked on the door.
That must have been nice for them.
I was like, can I come in? I couldn't breathe, hyperventilating. Anyway, I barged my way because they were taking too long. By this point, I was sitting there lobbying. I was like, let me in. Can I sit down, please? And she was like, who are you? And then Pete turned up and she was like, who is she? Anyway, I sat down. I came and made myself comfy on their sofa.
As you would.
Crying, doing this whole emotional thing for about half an hour, saying, someone's just spat in my face, what am I gonna do? Anyway, I explained to them. Pete,
Pete, if you want to pop out and get us both a coffee, right?
So anyway, Alex, his little brother, turned up with this little water pistol in his pocket, and he said, Nikki, it wasn't spit, it was this water pistol. And I was so embarrassed. I've gone through this whole thing.
Right, OK. Can I just say, I've been with you for 10 minutes. I am f***ing exhausted. I don't know, Pete, I don't know how you are after a night. I'm like a wet rag now. I'm drained. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Yeah, it's a real pleasure to meet you. Thank you so much for coming on. Nikki, good luck with Princess Nikki. Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Pete, good luck with that. I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot more of you.
You too, good luck with the show.
What do you mean, me too? Of course you'll be seeing me. I've got a 3-year deal. Didn't you read about it? Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you'll agree they're a very unique couple. It's Nikki and it's Pete. Thank you so much. Hey, Nikki, lovely to meet you. I'm looking forward to looking your shape, definitely. Hey, Pete, good to meet you. Thank you, Pete. Nikki and Pete, ladies and gentlemen. Shall we get my final guest out, ladies and gentlemen? He has just finished the new series of extras. It's frankly, I've seen some of it, it's a shoddy piece of work, but it's redeemed only by a cameo appearance in the final episode. That's right, finally landed the big one. If you don't mind me saying, what you need in that show is a few more catchphrases like Little Britain. One like, I'm an extra.
Go on with it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ricky Gervais. Ricky Gervais, ladies and gentlemen. Ricky's, it's weird, it's genuine, it's exciting and a pleasure to have you back. You've been on this show so many times, it's like you're my sidekick or something here.
Yeah.
Now, a new...
Just show clips.
A new series of extras starts this week. Congratulations on, well, on getting a second series, essentially, but also...
Congratulations on already it up, isn't it?
Do you think it's better than the last series? Is it
I think it's funnier. I think it's the funniest thing we've done. I mean, I don't know what better means. I don't think it'll have the emotional resonance of The Office, and we didn't want it to have. It's a more traditional sitcom. It looks a bit postmodern with the sort of meta level of, you know, a play within a play. But it's, yeah, we think it's funnier. You're a film reviewer. You should know these words.
That was like a proper answer to a proper question then.
I know. So you'll cut it out.
No. I do look a bit more like Parker these days. I don't know. That's the problem. You're getting me confused.
He's kept himself in trim. Look at you. Undo the button. Go on, let it hang out. Look at this. Look at this.
There's nothing there. There's nothing there.
Let it go.
What?
Look at that.
What? That's a cyst is all that is. I'm having it chopped off tomorrow. Thanks for showing people that. And now I'm ill. You can talk. Lardy. All right. I very much admired you and your co-creator, Stephen Merchant, because after The Office, and let's face it, The Office was quite rightly hailed as a tremendous piece of work. Won awards all over, was a huge hit. I would have thought that, you know, to get back into a second series, to start working on something else must have been very daunting, and yet you didn't seem to find it so. Why not?
I never really cared how it was received, really, because we didn't care about The Office. We sort of did it for ourselves, and even the second series of The Office, we, you know, put out of our minds what people might be expecting, and we sort of pretended it was the first time again, really.
But does it get harder to do the more success you have, the more, because it's obviously you're aware of the expectation.
But we do it really, honestly, we do it for the work, and so we're excited about putting these things on the telly. We know they're going to be seen. We don't do them and put them in a drawer. And we want as many people to watch them as possible, but without compromise. Yeah. So if someone said, oh, you'd get another 1 million listeners by doing this, we just wouldn't do it. We're excited about coming up with the idea. There's nothing more exciting than the idea, genuinely. And then you know, it can be ruined or rendered correctly.
All right, who's in the new series? Because one of the exciting things about the first series Extras, obviously it was a funny show, you were great in it, it was, you know, good performances all round, I thought, but the guest stars were obviously a big selling point and people loved seeing that. And you set the bar pretty high, I mean, you had Samuel Jackson
it was really never about the names. They were the icing on the cake because we plague ourselves with realism, so you know, if you were on a film set, we really wanted them to be the real stars playing themselves, and that added something. It's also a shorthand because we don't just get people who are famous, you know, or even like megastars. They have to have something to deconstruct. It's not just good enough for them to be, you know, globally successful. We want to have something to play with and to push the plot.
Well, one of the best episodes was the one with Les Dennis, and he's not the biggest name.
No, he's not a global name.
No.
He's big in Britain, but there was something to deconstruct. And in many ways, it resonated more because people feel that they knew him, so they got everything. But you know, it's much more an ensemble piece, and it always was, but it's even more so now. You know, it's about 4 people: Andy, Maggie, his agent, and Barry off EastEnders, as he's known in the series. and it's much more them. It's much more those guys. But then we've still got big names. We've got Orlando Bloom in the first one.
Wow, Orlando Bloom. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
He doesn't do a lot of stuff. I mean,
they're much more, you know, integral than they were, because we were worried that, you know, we might only have them for, you know, 10 minutes in the series. But and Keith Chegwin is amazing in the film. Honestly.
People are laughing at the mere mention of his name there.
And you'll eat your words.
Does anyone ever turn you down? Because I read that Keith Harris turned you down.
That's true.
Keith Harris. Was it Keith Harris you're after, or were you just using him to get to Warville?
Well, I think 2 people we asked that were worried about something. So Orlando Bloom said yes, Bowie said yes, Sam Jackson said yes, all these megastars, Chris Martin, but Keith Harris said no. I was turned down by Keith Harris.
That's quite fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good. I like that.
And what reason did he give?
He didn't like it.
He didn't like it. Not a big enough part for him, or what? He didn't like it?
No, he wasn't comfortable with it.
He didn't understand it, or?
Well, I don't want to say that. Maybe he just didn't like it. No, he didn't get it.
That's great. Will there be a 3rd series? You did 2 series and a special of The Office, of course.
Do that again.
You did 2 series and a special of The Office. All right.
People with me not smiling at your buffoonery.
Will there
Take 3. Okay, and laughter dies. Okay, and in your own time, action.
I'm beginning to wish I had Nikki back out if she was easier to deal with. Will there be a 3rd series? Don't do that. I can't use that on its own.
All the difficult bit, all the talking. Right, you're a chat show host. You get £20 million an episode. Just... Right. We all know you're worth it. Okay, go again. Go again, like none of this has happened.
Will there be... Will there be a 3rd series? Why do you do this to me? Why do you come on and do this to me? Why do you just make my life easy?
It's a bloody interesting question, anyway.
It is an interesting question. Well, I tell you what, Extras was huge, right? The special, obviously, finished off the story neatly, but I wanted to see more.
You mean The Office?
Oh, okay.
Parkinson does it in one take.
So tell me, Nikki.
Here we go.
I'm not doing it. All right. Well, now, you don't do the radio show anymore. You did a radio show. It was mainly here in London. You could get it on DAT and Sky and stuff, but it was for London station XFM. You know that anymore. And you do. Was it called DAT?
D-A-B. I mean,
DAT was a song by Pluto Shervington. Got to number 2. But you couldn't get it all over the country. No. But you do the podcast now, and the podcast that you do is a big deal, isn't it?
It's global, it's international. It's the beauty of the internet. We do it in a little studio, we upload it ourselves, we stick it out there, and it's great because it can be heard anywhere.
How many people download it, roughly?
About 8 million.
8 million?
Yeah, that have heard. Yeah, we get probably about 500,000 straight away every time we put one up.
And the rest by mistake?
Yeah.
And you charge for it now, so it's like a proper job. It's a proper thing. It's not just a...
Well, we had all these downloads, and Carl had given up his job.
Now, this is Carl Pilkington.
Yes, the little shaved monkey buffoon. And he won't mind me saying that because he won't fully understand it. He's got a perfectly round head, which
well, we can see it there. He is very round, isn't it?
Look at that little round head.
It's nice. There's a shine on it as well.
Oh, bless him. And he just left his work, and we said about, oh, we've had $1 million, we've had $2 million, we've had $4 million. He was going, can't we charge £1?
Well, he's right, though. That's
So we did. Yeah.
So you get, so it's £8 million per podcast.
Oh, don't talk. No.
Oh, you can make fun of my earnings. You're earning £8 million for abusing a mentally retarded man. Isn't he?
Not officially.
Nothing to laugh at there. And now you do a little bit of video that goes through as well. You can download video footage for the podcast as well.
It's just for fun, really. It's just a hobby. I really, when I discovered Carl, I feel like I'm Anthony Hopkins of the Elephant Man, taking around this sort of sideshow freak. I want the world to see the oddity that is Carl Pilkington. He is quite incredible. He had kidney stones and he went into hospital and he said, I had to fill out this form, right, with things you can donate after your death. And it went heart, liver, lungs. And he said, and I was ticking them, and said fourth was eyes. He said, no, I wouldn't tick them. And I went, why wouldn't you tick your eyes to donate after you're dead? He went, I don't want to be a blind ghost. And he doesn't know he's doing it.
That's brilliant, though, isn't it?
He's great.
All right, let's have a look. This is you, Stephen Merchant, Carl Pilkington, and you're talking about Brokeback Mountain.
We sat him down, and we knew he'd never seen the film or heard about it, so we sat him down and we let him watch the bit in Brokeback Mountain.
The bit.
The bit.
In the tent, mano a mano. That's a point.
Yeah.
There is a point there.
Yeah.
Now, extras. Extras is back on TV quite soon. I know when you put the DVD out, you put a lot of extra stuff in. You put behind-the-scenes stuff, and I know you brought some outtakes along to show us today. Will you explain?
Well, there's a reason for that, yeah, because along with we've got Orlando Bloom, David Bowie, Daniel Radcliffe, Chris Martin. We've got loads of little surprise guests popping up all over the place. Jonathan is one of them, and we enjoy ourselves on the set, and they're outtakes, but they're not as hate-fueled and bile-injected.
I like that.
So that's,
Yeah, that's nice.
That's a night of the round, corpsing, very sweet. So this is Jonathan. All Jonathan had to do, I said, right, I don't want to give too much away, but as I say, Andy sort of makes a sitcom, and I get to meet Jonathan Ross. Yeah. And I said to Jonathan, OK, so just do a bit, we're chatting, we're just getting to know each other.
Yeah, I was ad-libbing.
So, yeah, he's ad-libbing. So, one, there's no concession of me being anyone but me, so he's just talking to me now.
I was acting.
And just watch the filth and nastiness that comes out of his gob.
Nothing wrong with that. What was wrong with what I said there? Why do you have a problem with what I said there?
It's a wonder we got it done.
It's banter. That was just light-hearted banter.
You were very good, actually, eventually.
I thought I was a very good actor. Would you write a sitcom for me? Would you write a bigger part for me in a sitcom?
Yeah, I would.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't expect you to say that.
No, if things don't work out the way I hope they... If things go terribly wrong over the next 10 years.
There's a scene we were called upon to do, which I had trepidation when we approached it, which is where we're meant to be falling around together, and we're meant to be very close friends, me and Andy. And we go topless, don't we? Okay? Now, neither of us are in the prime condition, really. Oh. It's not a sight you would wish to inflict on people who, hadn't already been warned. And then you were kind of directing at the same time. I know Stephen Merchant, but you're kind of directing while you're doing stuff, aren't you? Mm. So we're walking back, and he says, and I think it's probably been waiting for us, he said, take your top off. So I took my top off, and you take yours off. And then he said, let's wrestle. Mm. Right? And we started wrestling.
It was like Women in Love. Yeah. Which is a very disappointing film to get out. It's not what you think.
Yeah. But what I found, and looking back, I feel a bit sad about and a bit, embarrassed about, is that when you were saying wrestle, even though we're meant to be acting,
we tried our best, didn't we?
I tried to beat you in the wrestle.
I know. We were like two schoolboys.
Yeah, it was embarrassing.
It's like a warm-up with tennis. We're trying to beat each other.
It was embarrassing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Can I ask you this honestly and frankly?
You're going to say, did I get an erection?
No. Did you get an erection? Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ricky Gervais.